Welcome back to Popcorn and Beers. We've got your butter on top Wolfman, and we've got the Juror classic, The Usual Suspects. Let's go. Welcome back to the biggest lull in the movie seasons. It's like that moment right before the Oscars, right after the Golden Globes, when all these studios know we can just release ass.
It's
Go ahead,
2
Josh.
a.m. It's 2 a.m. at the 7-Eleven, and there's one hot dog left.
Yep. And you got to make a decision, man. Do I eat that hot dog? I'm really hungry. All right. Well, welcome back to Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. All right, so I've got a Wanna Go to the Sun Pale Ale. Isn't that a pretty can, though?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That can is very pretty. I think we should tag them and shout them out and say, hey, that's a very pretty can.
What's the brewing company?
It is Lost and Grounded.
Lost and Grounded. Well, I got
That's
the
deep.
old Goslings, one of the greatest ginger beers of all time. N.A., baby.
All right, I like it. Doing something different on the show. I like the seal. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And I also, I need a shirt. I'm going to invent a protein snack so we can put your gym logo on it. I miss your gym logo.
I'm going to invent a protein snack. Sounds sexual.
No. I'm going to give you my protein snack. That's... All right. So in our Butter on Top this week, we had a character that was looking for a human protein snack.
Good
All
one.
right. So Wolfman, it's been a while. When was the last time we had a werewolf movie? Was it Benicio
Yeah.
and Hopkins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
That was not good.
It wasn't. And I got to go to a special screening with the director in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because they shot a lot of that in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And they go, okay, so what would you change? And one of the women in the front row goes, oh, so many things. That was to the director.
That's great.
Right? So,
You know who had the best werewolf transformation? Before we get into this, Van Helsing had the best transformation of the werewolves from human to wolf. Yeah, because they were ripping off their whole skin and then, you know? I liked it. And Underworld was good.
Yeah, when watching this, I was trying to think. I was like, what was the best, like, what's a good werewolf movie, honestly?
Underworld is probably the best.
Underworld was good. Definitely Van Helsing came to mind. And good.
The one knock on Underworld is also, like, you don't get enough of them. And when that was the knock, right? And I think it's a trilogy, right? They didn't do 4. Did they? They just did 3?
They might have done a spinoff, but probably not.
Okay, maybe you're right, Josh. Maybe they did a 4th. It was that we didn't get enough werewolf and enough lichen, and then it's like they couldn't figure out a way to properly write in the lichens in the next 2 movies, so they just ruined what was a really good movie.
Yeah.
No, there is another one, actually, a very lost, forgotten one. If you want to see a really good, actually scary, gritty werewolf movie, watch The Cursed. It's a 2021 horror movie.
Okay.
Excellent.
The Cursed?
Excellent. It's called The Cursed, yes.
Cool.
Where can the audience get The Cursed?
That's a good question. I don't know.
My butt.
Don't know,
Josh
but I
is here
know.
just to throw in sidelines. All right, so let's go ahead and get into Wolfman, starring Julia Garner. I don't recall who the main actor was. Who was the main actor?
The guy?
We'll pull it. Yeah, I think the guy.
That's what it says in the cast note or in the credits. The guy.
He's in makeup a majority of the film, and so the guy is fitting.
Christopher Abbott.
Chris Abbott, if you will.
Yes.
All right, so just an actor I've just never heard of ever, and that's okay. Because Julia Garner is really the star of this movie. She carries it with her acting as far as the scene on scenes. As far as the scene on scenes go, right? Everything else is just beautiful scenery, beautiful set, beautiful area of the earth. I think it takes place up in Upper Oregon, Northern Oregon, and it's just lovely. Yeah,
Most beautiful forests.
Yes, rivers, forests. It starts out very interesting, and we never get any closure from how the film starts out. Okay, because there's some hidden group that's indicated in it, and they do something in regards to mythological creatures. That's all we really know. Like mythological creatures, almost like supernatural style, right? There's some network of people and they live off grid and they talk to each other on CV radios. That's what we know. And then it never addresses it again. Like we never get to know what that was, why it was. We just have a link that the child has to his father that comes into play later on in the film and is kind of revealing. I will say this transformation, the werewolf transformation, I found it interesting. I don't know that it was necessarily good, but I thought it was interesting the way that we slowly transformed into a werewolf. And I don't think it's a spoiler alert. If you don't know, Wolfman is about a werewolf.
You mean like the Santa Claus style? Like over a few days he turns into a wolf, or?
No, it's one night. The whole film takes place in a night. Like the whole, well, not the whole film, but the main plot takes place in one night. That's the main plot. Okay? So you're there for a night, you get boom, boom, boom. Like this is what's gonna happen. It's all gonna happen in one night. Almost like that game on PlayStation where you get the Quarry. The Quarry, that werewolf game where you get to select a story and the werewolf thing, it's all happening in one night, but it's a long story.
Cool. I've heard of it. Never played it, but I'd like to.
It was okay. It was decent. It was a decent game. It was kind of fun. Okay, but it's kind of like that, where this is all happening in one night. And there's a lot of different twists and turns that you get. But I think my biggest hangup was that wasn't addressed. I didn't mind the werewolf transformation. I didn't mind the big reveal either. I thought the big reveal, I kind of saw it coming. Literally, I was sitting in my chair and I was like, oh, what's that, Jordan?
You had to have, of course. Yeah.
I was kind of sitting there and I was like, I bet this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And it was. But there was a lot of stupid decisions made again. Like, there's the climbing on a greenhouse to get away from a creature with claws that is superhuman and jumps high. Yeah. That seemed like a stupid choice to me.
Also, being on top of a greenhouse is very precarious in general. Like, don't go up there.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not like a glass greenhouse either, Josh. It is like we jerry-rigged a greenhouse with tarp paper or tarp and all that. And I'm just like, this makes no sense. Like, of course he's going to get you. It's not a difficult task here.
In any movie where there's any horror movie where there's a greenhouse and they try to escape by climbing on the greenhouse, they always fall through.
Right?
Every single time. No.
And in this one, it's like I said, it's plastic tarp. So the werewolf has these superhuman claws that just punched through your windshield. And you think he can't get through plastic tarp? Or follow you up the ladder either. Like that was also an interesting, like why didn't it just they didn't kick down the ladder.
Just
so anyway dead. Like you're gonna get me off on a tangent on that aspect of it. But I think that as far as movies released in January are concerned, it's definitely not good, but it's overall not disappointing. I would definitely watch it probably again, and there's probably some stuff I missed, some details that were there. I think that the dialogue was fine. It was interesting. There was a few things where I was like, no one talks like that. But outside of that, it wasn't a bad movie. The decisions they made to show things from an alternative perspective, I feel like worked to the extent that they could. I think they could have done a little bit more with it, but the internal dialogue that they go through, each character, I thought that was interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a pop 1. I'm not going to bash it. I don't think it was bash worthy.
Pop 1. Okay.
Jordan?
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed by it. I feel the same way. I wasn't disappointed by it because I had little to no expectations for this to be a good movie. So of course I wasn't disappointed.
Right.
The werewolf did not look as bad as I expected it to look. The transformation was like visceral. You know, it was slow and subtle, but also like when it started happening, it was happening. Like it was good in the way that they showed it. The way that they play with his change in senses, his hearing and his vision and things like that was sick. Like that was cool. Super, super cool. The way he starts to see things and how they switch back and forth between that from different perspectives. That was awesome.
Was he like
Never
my
done.
dog, where he's like running towards the bad guy and he stops and he just smells something for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
There is a scene where he's hearing things and he just listens to it for 20 minutes. That does happen.
Yeah, it doesn't rely heavy on jump scares, which was good. It builds some slow tension. The little girl was a bad actress. I'm sorry. She was not good as
Par for
far
the
as
course.
child actors go. Matilda Firth is her name. Julia Gardner was good, despite not being given enough to work with. Really.
I agree.
You know,
That was a good. That's actually great analysis. That is great. You're right. I think
she was the top billed star of this movie, and they did not let her star in this movie. They threw it heavy on the dude, the Wolfman. She just kind of played like the relationship dynamic that they have with them, like, oh, we're kind of our marriage is fizzling out, and we need this trip, and then this tragedy brings. It's so played out. It's so played out, honestly.
Played out, dog. Played out.
But it's a short movie. It's short. It's an attempt at a twist that everyone can see coming. It felt like they were really just trying to make an entertaining movie, like a modern creature feature, not a good movie, just an entertaining movie. But that, the whole creature feature thing, it just comes with a level of tackiness that they could not overcome, really. Like it just seems like a very hard thing to do, honestly. Frankenstein movies, vampire movies, werewolf movies, they don't. Creature from the Black Lagoon, I don't know how that damn movie won an Oscar. What is it called? The Sound of Water, Shape of
the
Water?
original?
No.
The Shape of Water was great, dude.
That movie was weird.
That movie was
Oh, yeah, of course it was weird. The whole movie revolves around boiled eggs. But it was good.
And a sea creature that's human. And a secret lab. But Michael Shannon?
The way I felt about that movie was the way that you feel a lot about these Oscar movies. Like, am I supposed to like this movie? Like, you just want me to like it because I'm supposed to like it.
That's
right?
fair. That's fair.
But yeah, these movies, they're very, very precarious to take on.
The Shape of Water off my glasses. No,
Okay.
just kidding.
So I give it a popcorn, but it was fun. It was entertaining. It was cool. It had really cool elements that it introduced to this genre.
Some things just don't seem to translate, or people don't know how to translate, because I love werewolves, dude. And there's similar to Dungeons and Dragons, there's a whole werewolf role-playing game, and the lore is so deep and rich. And there's so many things you can do with werewolves, but they seem to just go with, oh, he's scary.
Yeah.
He wants to eat people. They eat people. Let's go ahead and let's go to a non-people eating film. Are you guys ready for a non-people eating film? It's Josh's drunk classic. Yeah. And Josh made his decision right on the button when Jordan had no idea what I was talking about when I said Kaiser Soze to him, huh? And
I don't know. I still, having watched this movie, do not know what Kaiser Soze is. What is Benicio?
He gets the name off the board.
I know.
It's on the board. The whole story he told was on the evidence board.
Yeah, this after watching it, I definitely see like where this movie has been parodied and parroted and other.
I was wondering, if you saw the Key and Peele.
Yeah, and then like Scary Movie, I don't know if it's 1 or 2, the whole like limp thing, and then it goes away as he's walking. Like that's just
one. Scary Movie 1, Detective Doofy.
Doofy, yeah. What is Benicio del Toro's affect supposed to be? His accent?
It's supposed to be nondescript.
I think he's supposed to be Benicio del Toro, because I feel like that is who Benicio del Toro is.
Absolutely not. No. It wasn't Spanish. It wasn't French. It wasn't Portuguese. It was just like do an accent no one will recognize.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's who he it's like an ethnicity. I'm saying it is him as a human being. Like that seems to me to be who Benicio is. Just awkward and rambling. Like, have you ever heard him in an interview? He just kind of rambles.
No.
They wouldn't there's the scene where they do the heist. Not really a heist. You guys called this a heist. This is how you sold it to me. Okay, let me back up here.
I said it was heist adjacent.
I was like, oh, Den of Thieves, this is a great heist movie. I may or may not have called it one of the best heist movie.
You said you think it's your favorite heist movie.
Okay, that's fair. That's valid. That's valid. Because I definitely like went back on that. I was like, oh, there's The Town. That's definitely like one of the greatest heist movies of all time. But anyway,
Town is great.
Yeah, this is not a heist movie. This is a crime movie, like a crime spree movie.
Yeah, my bad.
Not a heist movie.
They are heisting. But we don't know what they're heisting. They're heisting the Argentinian mob, they think. And when he opens the van and he sees all the money and everything in there, like, but we don't know ever what he's actually heisting because it's all like a yarn. He's lying about everything.
A heist occurs, but it's not like you don't get like it's not a heist movie. Like that doesn't center around like this one plan and there's all these intricate moving pieces of it.
There's not even one montage, bro.
No,
we just don't get the plan because he's lying to the police. The whole thing is he's lying to the police the entire time about what the plan actually was. So you're never going to be clear on what the plan was, and that's on purpose, I think.
Yeah, it's overall the heist is he gets away with it, and you don't even know how.
Yeah, or what he was able to steal.
Right.
Like it's like millions of dollars, and they think maybe drugs, but like you don't know. Because he lied so much in that interview.
So okay, so there's the heist that they pull with the van, where they pull up on the vans with the guys and the things, right? Like they would not recognize Benicio del Toro's voice and see what's his face, Creepazoid in real life.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Thank you. You wouldn't see the guy sitting in the back of the van with his crooked foot. It's like instantly recognize that guy.
Nylon was not very.
No. And what is with the Kobayashi again? Okay, I get it. He's lying the whole time, so nothing really makes sense. But like,
or is real.
Yeah,
none of it's real.
Who's a piece of crap? Stephen Baldwin with his Mark Davis hair was cracking me up the whole movie.
Mark Davis hair is good.
I think that's Baldwin's best movie.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you.
He doesn't have a lot, but
that might have been the only Stephen Baldwin movie I've actually ever seen. I don't know.
Biodome?
Okay, I've seen Biodome. Fair.
Yeah.
All right. And this guy is supposed to be like the cold-blooded gangster type, the main guy-ish. That's not Spacey. His buddy.
Dean Keaton.
Dean
oh,
Keaton.
yeah.
And it's just I don't see it. Honestly.
Well, he's retired, right? That's the idea.
But he's just supposed to be like this. Oh, he went to prison and he killed guys, and he's a killer of killers.
Yeah.
Kind of like this. Yeah, it's like, come on. It's just it's really hard to follow. In the end, the payoff is good, but I was still just very confused.
Gotcha.
At the end of this movie, I don't know.
Okay. Rewatchable then.
Is it?
I think so. I enjoyed it the second watch.
I'm asking Jordan. Well, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't care for I couldn't follow the dialogue. Nothing. I don't know. I didn't like this movie, to be honest.
Dang.
Popcorn? Yeah, I didn't. I get a popcorn. Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
No, you're
Tried
good.
my best. Well, I would say that just first of all, this is a movie. It doesn't. I'm not sure how much these exist anymore. Well, they always exist. When you're a college age and you're a dorm kid or whatever, and you're sitting with the bros and it's movie time. Oh, you haven't seen Usual Suspects? You gotta watch it. This is the movie that you rewatch to make someone else watch because you want to see the payoff. And you enjoy rewatching it because the characters are very rich. Like the second, third, fourth time you watch it, not that you will, the Usual Suspects, especially Benicio, are very entertaining, and their characters it's just fun to watch them when they're in the lineup and give me the goddamn tissue, oh, that's really funny. Little backstory, that scene that when they're laughing and stuff, that's because Benicio farted like really bad, and they're just trying to keep acting in the cut, so like they're all laughing because Benicio farted mid-scene. Anyway, I like this movie. I think it's fun. I like the twist at the end. It might be kind of ruined, like Exorcist style. Like Exorcist is not watchable in my opinion because it's been overdone so many times. So maybe this is in that category.
Exorcist is just objectively a bad movie, though.
You think this is objectively bad?
No. Exorcist.
Oh, yeah. Exorcist is terrible. And if you think it's good, then you need to shut up.
It was just shock factor back then, but anyways.
Yeah, and it's, come on. Anyway.
I can't let you guys compare eras. I'm sorry. I'm going to step in here and be like,
Exorcist
for the era.
sucks, dog.
For the era,
yeah,
I'm sure it was one of the most amazing
era.
films. The 70s, and you've got in Christian America a girl shoving a crucifix into her thing, being like, bleep me. I'm trying to censor myself for the show, Josh. Like, and then throwing up pea soup and the makeup work.
It's
the writing, like it was unique back then. The story was also unique. You're capitalizing on what was a very real fear.
It's very much satanic panic, all that good stuff. For the time, two things can be true. It can be a historic, pivotal movie that changed the game. It can also be trash today, objectively.
Yeah.
Two things can be true. Like when I rate a movie, I think of the overall, how it affects all of film, and also what I thought about it. There's two things.
Anyway, I'm gonna be real with you. Citizen Kane sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not wrong, but that's also a quote from a movie, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
I think that someone says that in a movie.
Anyway, Usual Suspects, I think, is entertaining. The more you watch it, the more it kind of unfolds. But I understand not wanting to rewatch it. I like Benicio del Toro's character quite a bit. I like the way it ended. Kevin Spacey, masterful performance. I think this was not what put him over, but it was what kept him there. I give it a popcorn and 1 at the very least. I think it's kind of a must-watch, but maybe that's not true anymore. The kids of today, Jordan, little baby boys, little children, don't like it. So I'm just kidding. Popcorn and 1. I thought it was good.
Let's talk about Kevin Pollak's masterful run through 90s cinema, playing everyone's father. Except for in this, he has Napoleon syndrome and threatens to fight or shoot everyone he comes into contact with. Like, can we have that conversation of how this man became everyone's father in the late 90s, early 2000s following this film?
Wait, who's Kevin Pollak?
Kevin Pollak is the short guy that's like always angry and like ready to fight.
Oh, the guy who's directing all the Star Wars now? Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah, he did Boba Fett and Mando or something. He didn't do Mando.
Awesome.
Anyway, I wanted to mention too the main guy Dean or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was filmed. They had a scene where he's Kaiser Sose in the end. Big twist. But the director changed it to Spacey, and that Dean, the actor, was absolutely furious. And he was so angry that they changed it because the whole thing was about him, and it was supposed to be this big. He didn't like the way the direction went, and he was very wrong because Kevin Spacey's a much better ending. Anyway,
yeah, it is. It's a much better ending. And yes, going from the limp to the regular walk has been used so many times. That deception, the deception of law is fantastic. Chaz Palminteri, is that how you say his name?
Sounds right.
The cop. Cop, he's the mob boss in every other film but this one. He's the cop in this one.
Yeah.
And how many times does he threaten him as a dirty cop might in that interrogation? Like, you know how many criminals I know on the inside that wouldn't be able to wait to get their hands on you?
Yeah.
And
I wonder if that all those interrogation scenes where they bring in the usual suspects and such, I wonder if that was like maybe kind of the first one that does it, because now you see that all the time. Like in Four Brothers. Remember Four Brothers? They definitely stole that from Usual Suspects.
You get a young Giancarlo Esposito in this too. I wrote barely recognizable if it wasn't for his voice. Absolutely. It was his voice. Yeah. I was like listening to him talk and I was like, is that Giancarlo Esposito? I had to look it up because like I didn't recognize that youthful face.
Oh, dude, I didn't know until you just said it out loud. I was like, that guy looks like Giancarlo.
Yeah, it had me, and I was like, that's gotta be Giancarlo. Yeah. It's the voice, man. Like, he has such an, like, it's crazy, because now you can really say this, and you can be right. He has such an iconic voice that has spanned decades. And the second he opens his mouth, you're like, that's Giancarlo Esposito right there. Yeah. I love it, and I'm actually really upset with myself that the first time I really gave him cinematic credit was for Breaking Bad. Now that I've rewatched this.
Oh, same. Yeah.
That makes me feel bad. The way Baldwin kills the two guys in the parking garage, just...
Yeah.
That scene was so funny. That doesn't hold up because that I was laughing so. I was like, what is he doing? Like, what is his motivation here? Who did he watch aim a gun like that?
I think Baldwin in general, like this might be his best role movie, whatever, but him playing tough guy in general was laughable. Like, really, this guy? Yeah.
No, I do think it's funny though because it shows like while they are planning, because they do have a planning stage, Jordan. It shows the benefits of like going in guns blazing versus like, no, I have a plan that wouldn't require us to shoot any weapons, right? And that's supposedly what turns Dean and gets him to do this job. And what a convenient setup.
How about that 10-minute long intro with just panning across the water? So 90s.
Yeah. Well, we had that in Flatliners too, remember? Where they're just doing the scene. Schumacher's just doing the scenery and the church and everything around the campus and all
just
that.
Showing the credits, yeah.
Yeah, you just see all that. Yeah, super 90s. It's a pop one for me, but it was entertaining. It was fun, and it was good to watch again, to watch how he just plays everything and be like, man, he's just spinning a yarn the whole time he's talking to the cops. None of it's true. It's all based on shit he's reading in the room. He just makes up another story because he read something new. I think that's hilarious. I think that's fascinating. I think it should make you aware of what's in your classroom, Jordan. So you could tell when a student may have just watched The Usual Suspects and they're just telling you things that are on the boards.
Who stole the pens? It was Mr. Hall Pass.
Officer Whiteboard.
Yeah.
All right, so pop one for me. So let's get to what we were watching. Let's go ahead and kick off with you, Josh.
All right, I got something. I'm sorry that, but you know, when things are on TV, I watch them. That's just
things are on TV. I watch them.
I am sheep man. So I watched Kindergarten Cop. Classic killer. Yeah, Kindergarten Cop starring Sylvester Stallone and
You're so stupid.
It's not a tumor. Yeah, honestly, dude, I gotta tell you, this thing holds up. It was surprising. It starts. Has anyone not seen Kindergarten Cop? Go to jail right now.
Just in case they haven't seen it, you should correct yourself so they don't go to watch that film and are shocked when Sylvester Stallone
Arnold
isn't in it.
Schwarzenegger plays classic Arnold Schwarzenegger badass at the height of his badass, where he's got the shotgun. He's the dirty cop, not dirty but rough around the edges, and he's got a beard, which Running Man style, like Anyway, he has to go be a teacher for kids, and the kids are like kids. And usually I hate kids on TV, but these kids were kind of adorable. And the detective partner of his, she actually had a great role, and I loved it. The bad guy was really weird, and you kind of like, I don't know if you feel bad for him, but you can tell, like, this guy's not all there.
What Kindergarten Cop did you watch where Arnold Schwarzenegger had a beard?
In the original, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the first one. No, before he becomes the teacher and he's a cop with a shotgun.
Fair enough.
He's got a beard. Then he shaves.
About the intro. Yeah. Understood. I was like, what did Josh actually watch?
Yeah, and then Danny DeVito's in it. Anyway, the villain, the guy who's like trying to get his kid back, kidnap his child, he's like clearly like mentally disabled in some way. Like, it was obvious, like the character who he's playing is like disturbed. He's not just an evil man. He's like, he needs like help, which was strange, but whatever. And then the psychopath mother of his, whatever. But in general, the movie is very rewatchable. It's very watchable today. It holds up in general. The soundtrack, though, boy, oh boy, this was like a...
I haven't seen it forever. Is it super 90s?
It's the most 90s, dude. While all the action's happening, it's like...
Anywhere you go, I'll follow you down.
It's Muzak. It's elevator shit. Like even during the big scenes and stuff, it's
the girl from
sitcom moment. Wait, and you know, like Full House when Bob Saget sits down with his kid at the end, he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry you got your feelings hurt," and the piano plays. Like, it's that kind of garbage, and like it was like hilariously bad. Little side note: the film was it was filmed in Oregon, and at the end you get to see Cannon Beach. I've been there.
That's what I say every
Yeah.
time they film at Albuquerque Airport.
Yeah, I've seen that rock before. I say it's a popcorn and one. It's good.
Poppy 1. Did it hold up for a rewatchable?
I think anyone could watch it today. Yeah.
There you go, Jordan.
This was, I started doing some research. I went down this rabbit hole kind of during Josh's review. This was Arnold's second comedy movie that he was allowed to do. His first one being Twins with Danny DeVito. And I remember reading something about that or hearing him interviewed on Howard Stern. And they just talked about like how he insisted, like he banked on like, no, I could do these comedy roles. Like I got the timing and whatnot. And Arnold can do comedy.
Twins to this day is his most earning movie.
Really?
Yep. Is it really?
Yeah, because he took a no paycheck, but he took a lot of residual.
Yeah.
So he gets paid still to this day.
So yeah, I mean, we got Kindergarten Cop, Last Action Hero, Jingle All the Way. He went on a run of comedy, family kind of movies. Yeah.
You gotta cook it down. I'm a copy idiot. I'm the party pooper. So many lines that are forever. The soundtrack sucked. School of Rock does not exist if not for this movie.
It's all right, Jordan. What were you watching?
I watched something you watched. Juror number 2. Is it
Juror number 2?
Juror number 3. No, it's Juror number 4.
Who cares?
Or 12 Angry Men.
Juror number 2. All right. I don't have a lot to say about this. You reviewed it pretty well. What, last episode? 2 episodes ago.
A couple episodes ago.
Go back and watch that if you want a more thorough review of it. But if you're tuning in now, Juror number 2, everyone except the ancillary juror members is solid. Nicholas Holt, his wife.
JK.
JK. JK is good. But nobody shines. Just like nobody really shines in this movie. Everybody's just fine. It was a good movie. It's very straightforward. What you kind of expect happens, and no surprises. It was just a solid movie. Popcorn and 2 for that one.
Toni Collette's accent was rough. Was rough.
Yeah.
Her southern accent, it was a little hard.
It's hard to do that shit, dude. Pull it off. I'm not even sure if I can pull off a real southern accent.
And you live there. You're from there.
Yeah.
All right. Skeleton Crew. Let's have a talk.
Skeleton Crew.
On Disney Plus, it was the new Star Wars show starring Jude Law and a bunch of kids. I don't need to name them.
It's where he's got like a Millennium Falcon type spaceship and they're like a skeleton crew?
No.
Oh.
No. They have a spaceship that's pretty cool and a droid that's a battle droid that links itself to a little girl because she says she's the captain. Anyway, my review is at least the final episode was action-packed. Too many shows with kids solving adult problems. And
kids just love it when kids are smart on TV. Kids just love it.
I'm so over this shit. I can't anymore. Like, my only saving grace is that the kids from Stranger Things are all going to be 42 when the next season comes out. But I wanted to watch it because it's Star Wars. I was interested. I had heard about the story before. I think they did like a little animated series about Skeleton Crew that I had seen. And this was a little bit different and nonsensical and not entertaining. And now we know there's hidden planets in the galaxies. About all we got is that there's planets that are hidden, that are off radar, that are manufacturing money for, the Empire, essentially, or the Rebellion. I stopped paying attention to the details. Mm-hmm. Yeah, space dollars that are ancient and worth more than any other space dollars, and everybody wants to get their hands on them. And that there's also space pirates. I wish this was just galactic pirates. I do.
I want to see some pirates. I like pirates.
This was more like space pirates. Like, that's pretty much what this was. And even the big bad gets dismissed so fast that you're just like, really? That was what all that buildup was for? You led us to this guy led a mutiny, overthrew an entire ship, and that's how he goes out? Like that? That's stupid. again, aren't you guys over this? Like the kids solving adult issues?
Yeah, but like this is probably going to come up in a few more later on, but it's not for you, dude.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's not for you. I'm not.
It's
gonna
just
watch
like,
it. Not for me.
the kids love it. Kids in general love it when kids on TV, a la Bart Simpson, are smarter than the adults. They just eat that shit up. I mean, I did when I was a kid.
I'm sure I did too. Not that Baby Geniuses was good. I thought that movie was stupid. But the show wasn't great. It wasn't good. It was a popcorn. The best they got out of this show was that they were able to give you a little bit more information on the Star Wars universe. That was the best you got out of it. Like, the kids were annoying. The animatronics was cool. Like, the classic animatronics was cool. The classic puppetry was cool. But, man, like, they could have done so much with a show like this by making it a grown-up show. And instead, they made it a kid's show. And I feel like we should watch Barney after it. It was really bad. So we're going to give it a popcorn. Jude Law, good job. Oh, and he's like a false Jedi. That is a thing that happens. Like, he's not a real Jedi, but he's not a Jedi, but he has Force powers, which is weird. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Stop giving everybody Force powers.
It was a lot.
Really cool.
It's not cool if everyone can do it.
I just love it how in episode 4, the first Star Wars, they're a myth. Like, Jedis are a myth. They're so infrequent and uncommon that no one even believes it's true. And now it's like, you got episode 8 where there's just a kid using the Force to sweep the floor. Come on.
Yeah.
Enough already. All right. Josh, what's next?
What? I watched Ronny Chieng on Netflix. His new special is called Love to Hate It. You might know him from Daily Show. He actually has a bigger role. I think he's once a week host or something. He's a correspondent constantly. He's been there for years. Ronny Chieng, he's Malaysian, and he is pretty good. He talks a lot about, immigrant father and how embarrassing it is that he's a comedian and his dad doesn't even know what he does. Like, he doesn't understand it. Talks a lot about politics, of course. He does a great thing about Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
And has America's not great anymore as it was. Our math scores are down. Our healthcare sucks. And he goes on this big things that just about everyone could agree with if they got their head out of their ass because they're nonpartisan. Yet our math scores are down. That's obvious.
Yeah, I saw a snippet of that specific joke that he's telling online. I was like, oh, I gotta watch this.
It's pretty good. And another thing about, like, he's amazed at how many of his friends ask him about China, and he's like, I'm not even Chinese. When they're talking about politics. China's doing this. Okay. All right. Overall, it's solid the whole way through. The ending is pretty, like, sweet. It's not like a tearjerker, but it's like, oh, that's great. And if you like his humor on Daily Show, this is what you're going to get. But it's a little more focused on his personal, and I'd say it's a popcorn in 1.5 if you want to do that. But yeah, it's watchable. Netflix, check it out.
Yeah,
Ronny Chieng, love to hate it.
He's funny. His delivery is just kind of smug. I think it takes a little bit of sitting through him to be like, okay, kind of warm up to him a bit. I saw a really, really funny video where he's being interviewed by Bobby Lee.
Uh-huh.
And because Ronny Chieng has, and I don't, this was the joke between them, is that how he has that speech impediment kind of thing. And Bobby Lee was like, is it a speech impediment or are you just that Asian? Okay, not me. Not my thought. Okay, this is Bobby Lee, another Asian man.
Not me at all. I didn't say this. I'm not saying this.
Yeah.
And
he does a hot... Oh, go ahead.
And Ronny Chieng goes, I don't think so. I don't hear it. I would hope not. My name is Ronnie.
Ronnie. He has I would call it a hot take, but he does have a take. When he's like offhandedly mentioning his career to people who don't know him or whatever, he mentioned how The Daily Show pretty much invented modern American satire. And it's thoughtful. I'm not sure how true it is, but it's definitely thoughtful. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Dennis Miller might be responsible for that in some way.
Maybe so.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, I watched Silo season 2. This show has now been extended to 5 seasons on Apple TV. It is interesting. Season 2 was a little bit more interesting. It was a lot more what's the word I'm looking for there? Exposition. A lot more exposition than season 1. But they did it in an interesting way. And the only unfortunate side of that was if you'd already gotten attached to some of the characters from season 1, you don't get as much of them because they're stuck in situations from season 1 and they're going to give you exposition into where this show is going. It's very interesting. I don't want to spoil it because episode 10 drops a major spoiler about where we are. But if you're smart and you've seen a lot of film and TV, you kind of are on the right track. You kind of know where this is going.
Ready? There's a third silo.
Oh, no, there's infinite silos. There's infinite silos. They don't know how many there are. When the TV, when it zooms out of season 1, you know there's hundreds of them.
I have no idea what the show's about.
So no, it's in this episode we have the return of Juliet Nichols, who was our hero from season 1, and most of the story centers around her as the talented young engineer that is a bit of a rebel, someone that is pushing back against some of the ideals of what's going on. And she now runs into Solo, played by Steve Zahn, a remedial character that his own silo went to war and destroyed most of itself. So he never got to learn to grow up outside of the vault. So he is socially retracted, I think is the best way to say that. Is that okay? Is
sure,
socially
inept?
Inept. There you go. Socially halted in his ability to communicate. Now, well-read. Yeah, socially stunted. He's well-read. He's not stupid. He's a smart person because he lives in this silo's vault, which is where they keep all of the information. They keep all the history from the before times, is what they call it. And in all of this exposition, we dig a lot deeper, and it gets you very excited for season 3 because now I feel like after 10 episodes, we can finally move forward with, okay, we know that there's a real world going on. We know that there is a underworld, if you will, in these silos going on. How are the two going to meet up, and how is the silo going to figure out that all this is happening, and are they in fact an experiment?
You should watch Snowpiercer to find out.
It is a great story. And no, that takes place on a train, not in a silo. Stop it.
It's horizontal, not vertical.
and they eat cockroaches, not corn. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Snowpiercer. But I think Tim Robbins is fantastic. Rashida Jones, season 1, if you haven't seen it, is fantastic. Harriet Walters, fantastic. You've got a lot of good things going for the show. Now it's up to the writers, the directors, and the editors to really take this show home in the next 3 seasons. We know we got 5 seasons. We know we're 2 down. Let's put a good show on paper and then land the plane in season 5. Don't carry this thing out too long. So as for right now, Popcorn 1, Popcorn 1.5, you should definitely watch it. If you have a TV that does not do good with dark colors, you will get annoyed. Most of the show is very dark, and you will not be able to see some of the stuff that's going on. Very annoying aspect that Jordan and I have griped about on here before. Why can't they just make it like not so dark you can't see what's happening?
Right. Yeah, we get it. It's supposed to be nighttime. Use a blue filter.
Yeah. Why can't I see? Now I'm not interested because I don't know what's happening.
Exactly.
All right. So, Jordan, what's next?
I watched The Wild Robot that Josh has been raving about trying to get us to watch. And he was right. He was right.
He was right.
This is Baymax from Big Hero 6, not as snuggly or charming, but still cute, still likable, still merchandisable. Okay. Sure. Roz, the robot. This animation in this movie is just like a warm hug. It's soothing. It is makes you feel comfortable and safe. There are adult themes in this movie. Yeah, there are adult themes in this movie. Death, parenting. There's what is they? Yeah, where's the possum family? And she's like, as a mother of 7, and then you hear and 6, like her child just got eaten. Spoiler: the child does not get eaten. All right. The scene between the 2 robots. When Roz puts together the other broken robot to function enough to, have a robot-to-robot conversation, was deep. Super, super deep. Excellent crazy next level writing for like a kid's movie.
Yeah.
This cast is absolutely stacked and everybody does great. I don't know why I thought I remember reading Scarlett Johansson was the voice, but then I was like, this voice acting is too good to be Scarlett Johansson. And turns out, yeah, it's Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita.
The most adorable movie I think I've ever seen, possibly.
Yeah, but they don't overdo it with the annoying fox, and they don't kill anybody, major characters. I liked it how, like, every time there was a problem to be solved, the robot just had, like, another gadget that just popped out. Like, oh, that's fun. You know, it's like, oh.
Yeah, and every animal has its elements of, like, this is actually what this animal does in the wild a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So real.
Yeah. Movies this adorable are usually they can't be good, but this did both. It was
they don't finish strong.
Yeah, and it was very good movie. I give this a popcorn and 3.
Nice.
Poppy 3. Another pop 3 for Wild Robot, which I also believe is the front runner for the Oscar for animated film or animated
as
feature.
It should be. I haven't watched the one that won the Golden Globe, Flow. It's been kind of on my radar. On the periphery. Yeah, it's with like a cat. And it has some really cool looking animation as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, go for it. Popcorn 3.
Josh.
Hi. I watched what you watched, A Real Pain. Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin, sir. This is the first fictional movie to be filmed on scene of a concentration camp. It's a Holocaust film, but it has it has a spin on it that makes it, not, well, in Eisenberg's words, not applauding itself just for existing. Directed by Eisenberg, Kieran Culkin and Eisenberg. I thought the movie was a popcorn and 2, just to get that out of the way.
I gave it a 3, just so everyone knows, Jesse.
Yeah, I think everyone should watch it. And it has a just really beautiful look at relationships between family, relationships between people,
bros.
Finding what?
Relationships between bros. It's a bromance.
It's a bromance. definitely bromance. I mean, they're cousins, but they're basically brothers. They explain that.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, where you been? It's been so long, let's catch up. But they also pick up right where they left off, and they're annoyed with each other. There's a monologue, I love him, but I hate him, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes. It was amazing.
Yeah. So Eisenberg's character is even keel pretty much the whole time. And Kieran Culkin's character... Oh, yeah. But he's like always just trying to stay. He's always just trying to stay there. And Kieran Culkin's character is, I would say, bipolar or manic depressive, something along those lines. So he's all the way up or he's all the way down. That's his character. Every scene, you're not sure what you're going to get, or it might switch mid-scene, which is pretty cool. Great acting. But Kieran Culkin, while good actor, he's just being himself. He's just really good on a camera. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He gets the lines and he's like, okay, I'll read it. And he just reads the lines. That's who he is. He's the same on Succession, same on Scott Pilgrim. Not in a bad way, not Tom Cruise style. But anyway, I think the movie's very watchable. It hits deep because it's about the Holocaust. It's about real things. It's about mourning. It's about loss, grief. And the grief is not just the Holocaust. It's grief of a loss of a relationship. You used to be different. We used to be different. Things are different now. Okay, we got to move on. I want to ask you, Fry, since you saw it, I'm not sure about spoiler action, but, like, how'd you feel about that ending? It seemed, on face level, like... inconclusive, or it kind of left you hanging on something. It reminded me of Planes and Trains and Automobiles, but without the saccharine ending. What do you think about that ending?
So, let's give a shout out to Jennifer Grey, who I forgot to shout out during my review. She plays Marcia, and I didn't realize it till after I'd given my review. So, Jennifer Grey, fantastic. You were amazing in that role. But the ending, Kieran Culkin, I thought that it was, what now? Plotting. Where do we go from here? How do we improve? How do I change? And he's going to people watch for inspiration, because that's kind of what he does, right? We get that from the character. I go there because there's all kinds of wild people. You meet so many great people at the airport.
Yeah.
And he sits there in semi-isolation, right? Because there's the world's around him, but he's isolated. And just watching. So in my mind...
What's the takeaway?
It is sometimes you can be surrounded by people and still so alone.
Which
And I
is
think
definitely his character, yeah.
yeah, that's how that character felt.
Cool.
And also that he wants to change and he wants to not be the person that lives, to quote Jesse Eisenberg, in his mother's basement, right?
Smoking pot, yeah.
Yeah, smoking pot. But he doesn't know how to not be who he is.
Yeah, okay. And you know, this whole thing is a big road trip movie, plane trip, whatever, train trip. And the whole idea is, you know, when we come back, it's not like openly said out loud, but this is going to change us. It's going to change our lives. And then, you know, obviously when you go somewhere on vacation, you come back and you're home, and like wherever you go, there you are, that kind of thing. Like you can't escape yourself. Yeah. And I liked that how it was kind of, yeah, I mean, we're home and things are, I have a real appreciation for this or that. However, I'm just going to go back to my life, and that's the reality. And I think that was kind of blunt and cool that it was so blunt. I give it a popcorn too.
Yeah, I really loved that movie. I thought it makes you feel something. How'd you feel about the war memorial scene? The pictures?
Absolutely incredible. And then when they see all the shoes. But yeah, Kieran Culkin's character was, I wouldn't say annoying, but he plays that character like, oh, I just love people. I like to find out about people. And I don't think he's lying. I think he's trying to convince himself that others think he's so interesting. That's not the right way to say it. But when he's on his manic stage or his super hyperactive friendly guy stage, he's playing a character for himself. And then he gets to his low lows and he can't control how vicious he is. That was a really interesting thing. He deserves a nomination at least.
Yeah, I mean, he's already won the Golden Globe. I also thought the train scene was very interesting. Where he's like, you just let me sleep? You just look like you were so rested. And I know you've been having a hard time, and I felt like you needed it. And in my head, like, I would be Jesse Eisenberg in that scene. I'd be furious. I'd be livid. Like, none of what you're saying matters. We missed our exit. But the way
he was trying to force the go with the flow thing, I think,
Yeah, but the way he explained it and everything, and the way he was able to put his cousin at ease was also very cute, very interesting. Like, where he's like, no, don't worry about it, man. Like, I got the ticket here, and this train goes here, and, you know, we're just about 20 minutes behind. I was just like, I'd still be pissed, but I get why Jesse Eisenberg's character was kind of like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think everyone needs to see this movie. I think it's,
You guys have sold it well.
Yeah. It's on Hulu.
Good.
So Josh said it's on Hulu, so you can go see it on Hulu. I watched A Different Man, starring Sebastian Stan. I didn't mean for that.
Sebastian Stan.
I didn't hear it until I spit it out.
We got the script. What's it about? I don't know, but it rhymes. Okay.
Yeah, right. So you've got the worst person in the world, as she played in 2021. I can't pronounce her name because I think it's French, but it's Ronny Chieng.
Sure.
Reinsve. Reinsve. And then Adam Pearson, who play your mains here. And it's really centered around Sebastian Stan. And I will tell you, the first two acts are very, very, very good and interesting. And it sucks you in. You're like, man, this is going to be such a good movie. So understated, so well acted, so subtle in its plot points that it's trying and its themes it's trying to get across. And then it just takes a turn with about 40 minutes left. And you're like, what is happening? Now, Sebastian Stan plays a character riddled by tumors that developed in his adult life, covering his whole face. He's a struggling actor, wants to branch out, but he's shy. He's nervous around people, obviously because of what has become. Is it appropriate to say a deformity? Is that okay?
I'm not sure.
His affliction? I don't know.
It's his tumors. We'll just call them his tumors, his growths on his face. So there's a scene when he starts taking this drug where the tumors are fading away and the drug helps him get rid of these tumors on his face. It's experimental. And it's poltergeist-esque in the mirror. And it's hard to watch and nasty and gross. Do you know what I'm saying when I say poltergeist-esque?
I've never seen it.
So he's cutting away at the skin on his face and ripping off the tumors off of his face and dropping them into his sink. Like, so there's that you go through and you're like, ugh, like that was nasty, you know? And some of it, I still struggle to figure out whether or not it's real or if it's in his head. Okay? So a lot of people are going to take this movie face value. Like, what happened, happened. It was weird. The end doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it kind of turns you off. Or they'll go, how much of this happened in his head? How much of this is his longing? How much of this is what he wants to be, what he could be should this drug actually exist? Right? So you could go through it from that perspective, like, is this actually happening, or is this what he wants to happen, what he wishes would happen, the relationship he wishes he could have with this beautiful woman who moved in next door to his apartment, with this relationship he wishes he could have if he didn't have these tumors, the person he wishes he could be if one day he woke up and the tumors were gone and people liked him. So you get a lot of that. I will say Sebastian Stan, I don't know if he deserved the Golden Globe. I think he acted it very well. I just don't know if this was the right film to give it on, if that's fair to say. It will keep you entertained. It'll make you go, what the bleep? What the bleep is happening right now? And they use an actor that actually has a condition that causes Adam Pearson. He plays Oswald. And this character, though you should like him, I don't know, if you're on Edward's side, that's who Sebastian Stan plays, you kind of hate him. You're kind of like, this guy is infringing on this guy's life, and is he doing it because this is who he's teaching Edward a lesson for you can live with your abnormalities and thrive, or is this happening because it's in Edward's head and he regrets going through the transformation and he actually went through the transformation? Like, is he manufacturing everything that's happening? Is he Oswald? There's a lot to play with, okay?
Cool.
There's a lot to play with in this film. It's very emotional. I think that I wanted Josh to watch it. I sent Josh a text. I was like, I'd like to get your take on what I'm watching, because Josh likes those psychological type films. Because again, like, this isn't that necessarily. I think it could be, but I think most people are going to take it face value, because it does do point and shoot. It does, like, if you follow a storyline, it gets weird, but you follow a storyline. He makes weird decisions, but you follow a storyline. I think a lot of people are going to do that. But Josh has a tendency to look a little bit deeper down, like, hey, have you thought about this psychopath path yet? And then
I'm pretty deep, bro. I'm pretty deep.
No, I haven't thought about that psychopath path yet. But I will give this one a popcorn and 1.5.
Oh, okay.
Popcorn and 1.5 for A Different Man. Jordan.
Yeah. I watched another thing that has been reviewed on, Sorry Not Sorry. I watched American Primevil, because this is right up my alley. Okay. Western historical drama. It's a short series. I love a short series, right?
Short series are great.
Yeah, I'll watch something that I'm not particularly interested in, because I'm like, I'm going to get some closure at the end of this. And, so I'm a fan of Taylor Kitsch. I really am. And, this is in his wheelhouse. This is, the rugged, closed off, damaged guy that secretly got the heart of gold and whatever, He does that. He does that. And Dane DeHaan, I am a huge fan of this guy. He's in a movie that I'm not sure I've made a drunk classic in the past. I have to go back and look, because there's a movie with him that I absolutely love. Anyways, I don't want to spoil it.
Is he the guy that owns the fort?
No, that is the guy. It's the guy, the Mormon guy who gets scalped.
Oh, that goes crazy throughout the series.
Crazy. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, I really like that guy. And yeah, he does. That's his wheelhouse as well. The kind of spastic, unhinged guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Again, with the female character, the female lead, Betty Gilpin. Was a good actress. I hate a character that is just so hysterically unaware of their situation. Like, why? Have some kind of sense.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Like, you just have to know. How have you not been exposed to things throughout your life? You're a grown woman.
Her Madden awareness rating was 5.
Exactly. It's
I don't know who. It was some female woman comedian. And she said something like how there's always the damsel in distress. And she's like, when was the last time shit was popping off and you asked a man, what do we do now? Women don't do that.
No.
Children do.
Yo, Derek Hinkie was great though, Jordan.
That's a great name.
He's the red feather.
Oh, Hinky. I thought you said Derek Kinky.
No,
Just
Derek
because you said
Hinkie.
Derek, I was like, that's an awesome name for a dude. Yeah, no, he was fantastic. All again, like you said, all the natives, the native portrayal was top tier. Really, really good. The dialogue throughout the show is mediocre, but there's a lot of excellent moments in it. There are sprinkled in just some really, really heavy, well delivered dialogue scenes. Okay. Tension, the thing over the pigs with the Mormon guy, and
Yeah. Yeah. Wild Bill.
Yeah.
Wild Bill and Jim.
Yeah, he toes the guy like, is it cake style, just melts the guy's foot is good. All the way
that is a great line at the end of the series too. I'm keeping this shovel. It has sentimental value now.
Yeah. All the white dudes look too much alike in this show. It is hard to tell one white dude from the next white dude in this. I like how they flip that on its head for the casting and whatnot, type of thing. Anyways, they landed the plane in every facet. I feel like there you got closure. You got total closure for everything in this, and it gave you, for better or worse, it gave you what you wanted to happen, except for the natives getting all killed and everything like that for the most part. Just in a historically accurate way. Like, it's just as far as the dramatized things, you got what you wanted out of it, And of course, history is ugly and the actual historical things that happen. That's not what you wanted, but it is. Anyways, Popcorn and 2.
Poppy 2. Okay, you gave it a much higher rating than I did. I don't know, man. Maybe I was just over it. Maybe I need to rewatch it, give it another chance.
Never know.
We'll see. Maybe I was viewing it through a negative lens. Josh, what was your next movie?
I watched something y'all watched. Fall Guy, finally. With Ryan Gosling, and her.
Emily Blunt.
Starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and then Aaron Taylor-Johnson as the villain. This is a great contribution to the action rom-com thing. It is so meta. It's like the movie, throughout the movie, is telling you what's about to happen, because because in the action film this is supposed to happen, right? And it was but they did it in a cute way, and it worked. And the whole movie is just cute AF, and the action scenes are great, and they throw in it's just gratuitous amounts of action because it's about an action star, stuntman. Yeah. But the love scenes are good. It's all believable. All the characters are good. My favorite line in the whole thing is when Aaron Taylor-Johnson, the villain, who is like 6-packed up and 1% body fat, he's giving the evil plan to Ryan Gosling because he's won or whatever. And Ryan in the middle of it's like, dude, you need carbs for basic brain function.
Yeah,
I just love that. I like the whole thing. It's very rewatchable. Anyone will like it. Popcorn and 2, dude. Fall Guy is good.
Best rom-com in 5 years.
Best rom-com in a long time. It's great.
It was a really good. And did you see the part that I told you irritated me because it had happened to me twice? Where somebody had asked me like a question about myself, and I tell them, and they're kind of like, "Well, that was a bit cocky, or that's a bit inside," and you're like, "You asked the question."
Yeah.
Jacket. I'm like, why are people like the Miami Vice jacket? Oh, well, that was just a bit arrogant. Like that was a bit. What did she say? That was a lot of you, or something like that.
Yeah.
You asked the question.
Yeah.
Why are people like that? If you're just gonna be mean about the answer to the question, don't ask the question.
Please put Ryan Gosling in more funny movies. Just keep him there.
Yeah.
He's, what I used to think about Ryan Reynolds, what I used to think about Chris Pratt, he is the guy right now for me, for funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just good timing, good delivery.
Funny action, yeah. So good.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah, the last thing I watched was a 2011 movie that's been on my Amazon list for a while called Texas Killing Fields. Okay. It was just a switch up from a lot of the stuff that I had watched this week. And I was like, why not? Let's watch it. It's short. It's a true crime. Yeah, it's based on a true story. So it's like a true crime movie. It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Pretty stacked cast, okay? Keep up here. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Keep up. You better keep up. You better follow along.
Sam Worthington, Jessica Chastain, Chloe Grace Moretz, Stephen Graham, and Jason Clarke, who are like character actors that if you see them, if you don't know those names, if you see them, you're like, oh yeah, those guys are in everything.
Yeah.
Really good cast. Bad movie though. Just like it's just like a worse low budget movie version of True Detective. And I don't know if the first season of True Detective came out before or after 2011. After
maybe.
So maybe this inspired it. Like we could do this better, But it has some kind of like True Detective. It's like, it's this cop drama, but it has some kind of ominous supernatural element that they try to like throw in there. And it's mentioned, but nothing about it ever actually fleshes out. Like, why is the movie shouldn't be called because they say, oh, the Texas Killing Fields, which is like this marsh in Texas where people go crazy. They turn to beasts out there, whatever. And it's like, it's in like 2 short scenes and there's just nothing ever happens there.
You said beasts. I thought you said bees.
No.
I was like, where's this going?
Bees?
I've never seen this, to be clear.
Yeah.
I was like, bees.
Bees.
This movie was not good. It's very confusing. It's very meandering. It's a little bit of a day ruiner. It's like really grainy and just saturated. The way this is shot. The dialogue. Every character in this movie, their dialogue goes from 0 to 100. Like they're like having a normal conversation, and then it's like, rah, rah, like people just start exploding at each other, and just it's like what is happening here? This was a popcorn movie.
Okay, I did forget to say this. A Different Man. The score is fantastic. Actually, I did want to point that out. The score moves the film and gives you feelings about the character Edward. So I think that's what a great score should do is help move along the film and make you feel something. So I didn't want to go without saying the score was very, very good. Josh, you're last.
Yeah, my last. It's also your last.
We're gonna
do
it together. Yeah, we're gonna do it together.
We're gonna do it together.
It's like a
just
duet.
like 2 actors who have been out of the game for a little while. One for good reason, one for better reason. Back in action on Netflix. New this week. Cameron Diaz, she got out of acting because she is rich and didn't feel like it. And Jamie Foxx, of course, had a really bad stroke, and I'm glad he's back in action. Like, do you think like that's like Jamie Foxx is like, yeah, let's name it that. Like, boy, oh boy, trash, fire.
Yeah, it is really bad. Bad dialogue, bad writing. Bad direction.
Yeah, but this movie is for the types of people who are in the movie. Parents who are sad their kids don't like them, and the kids who don't like them, and they watch this movie because the kids seem smart. And there's the scene where like they play yeah, that one, and Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz are like getting into it, and the kids are like, ew, and I still got it. Wasted in this movie is the supposed bad guy, turns out not to be the bad guy. Andrew Scott, one of the great actors of our generation, in my opinion. He was Moriarty in Sherlock, BBC version. He's such a good actor, and he was just in this movie. For a paycheck? I don't know. But the action scenes are passable. Also dumb, though. Yeah. The idea of software, or is it hardware? It's a chip, right? So anyway, it's software that can, who cares what the thing can do? It's software that is not updated for 15 years? Are you serious?
But can still do what it does in the movie.
Yeah, you think they haven't updated their security system in 15 years? Idiots. Glenn Close is in the movie. I mean, everyone's in the movie, okay?
Yeah, her
Everyone
boyfriend's
who's in the
kind
movie,
of annoying.
They're
the
just
movie.
there.
He was a pointless
also,
character. Glenn Close's boyfriend.
Yeah.
It was
pointless. Oh, yeah. Oh, pointless, awful. What are you doing?
Yeah,
The relationship is gross. The hair they put on Jamie Foxx's head is gross. Cameron Diaz still has that award-winning smile, though. She's just a treasure. But, I mean, no one's really bad in this. It's just the movie is bad. Oh, no, who's bad? The kids. I hate kids.
Can you stop making the daughter, like, the biggest dick ever in all of these movies? Why is the daughter always the biggest asshole you've ever met, ever? Like, in all of them.
When I was 14, I was a little piece of shit too.
Yeah,
but I don't want to see it.
She's mean, like downright mean. And it's not just this. The Family Plan with Mark Wahlberg that came out over on Amazon, they do the car trip scene to Ice Baby.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, and it's just like, it's always the same. And I was watching this like, can we just be unique? Can we make a different movie? There's gotta be a better way to do this. Do we have new ideas? Does anyone have an idea?
It reminds me of that. Did someone give me an idea? It reminds me of that. It was a Vine or a TikTok or something where the guy, it's a dad who's making his kid play GoldenEye on 64, and he's like, "Ooh, that's your ass, boy." You remember that one? The whole thing is just like, we still got our groove. Oh, what do you mean, get a life? Our life is taking care of you, you little twat. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's allowed to be said.
Oh
right?
my god, my parents were cool once upon a time ago. Like, and I'm sitting here like, why do you need this? I know I'm dope. Like, I don't need this. like, why do you need this?
Why are you so insecure even though you are a world-class spy?
Yeah.
How are you this insecure? Anyway, the whole thing is just, it's so ridiculous. It is a family movie. So, like I said earlier, not for me. But, you know, I get it. There's going to be someone who's pushing 50 and they're going to love it. And that's what it is. Yeah, and I give it a popcorn.
It was a bad movie. I struggle to give it a popcorn, but the show demands it. So it's a popcorn. Jordan, are you going to give us a popcorn for your drunk classic? Or are you going to give us something good to watch?
I don't know. See, I'm going to... No. I know
a ringing endorsement.
I know what my selection is, and I'm really taking a risk here, I think. But I remember watching this movie as a young adult and being like blown away, especially at the ending. It is a
Avatar.
90s thriller drama. It is Shakespearean, as in it is literally It is literally a modern adaptation of a Shakespeare play. It is called, starring Josh Hartnett, Julia Stiles, and Mekhi Phifer. It is O.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen this.
Okay, I've always wanted to watch that.
You've never seen O?
I thought you were going to say 10 things I hate about you.
Oh, I thought he was going to say The Wicker Bench. Or Wicker Park, or whatever that movie was called.
Oh.
All right, and then did you mean to be punny just now when you said I'm taking a risk?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, because our butter on top is Flight Risk.
Yeah.
Starring male pattern bald Mark Wahlberg, if you've seen the trailer. That is
my plane? I got this plane.
There is a man, now that I've seen him with male pattern baldness, he's allowed to get the hair transplant. He looked awful.
Yeah.
He looked terrible bald. He gets the hair transplant. I'm not even going to say anything about it. You get it, Mark. You get that hair transplant.
Or just, like, own it.
No, he's bad. He looks bad.
He's got a flat skull.
It looked pretty bad. Don't own it, Mark. Go to Turkey. All right. So, thank you for watching us each and every week. We will see you at the movies. You get the popcorn. We got the beer.